Bright rainbow hair, large face tattoos, flashy and flamboyant jewelry, and with songs like Gummo, Keke, and Fefe, Tekashi 6ix9ine is arguably the most startling, bold, and brash rapper since 50 Cent. But unfortunately, Tekashi's shock value hasn't been strictly music related for entertainment purposes. Offline and outside of recording studios, an entirely different type of rap sheet, one without lyrics and only legal woes, has been growing in size for the 22-year-old 6ix9ine, born as Daniel Hernandez in the streets of Brooklyn, New York. The six-figure concert fees may have come to a screeching halt for young 6ix9ine when on Sunday, November 18, 2018, just 5 days before the release of his album Dummy Boy, Tekashi was arrested and faces 10+ years to life in prison. While being held in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, 6ix9ine was not given special celebrity treatment. He was put in the general population with inmates that the U.S. Justice Department describes as extremely dangerous, violent, or escape-prone. Along with the other former crew members, including Kafano, Treyway, Shotty, Jordan, Tekashi 6ix9ine is being arrested on racketeering and weapons charges, with allegations that Tekashi and associates were supposedly selling heroin, marijuana, fentanyl, and MDMA in New York. But how exactly did Tekashi 6ix9ine go from being one of the most talked about rappers in less than a year to facing hefty criminal charges that threaten to ruin his life? Some of those answers are found in the lengthy timeline of 6ix9ine's legal problems. October 2015, when Tekashi 6ix9ine wasn't quite yet the rapper that he is today, he pleaded guilty to use of a child in a sexual performance. This dates back to a February 2015 incident involving 6ix9ine, other men, and a 13-year-old girl who was filmed at a Harlem apartment naked. 6ix9ine was 18 at the time, and he's seen in the videos making a thrusting motion with his pelvis and smacking her on her buttocks while she engages in oral sexual intercourse with another guy. Additional videos featured the girl sitting naked on the laps of 6ix9ine and someone else, and a third one with a man dumping liquid on the girl's breasts while she's sitting down on 6ix9ine's lap. These promiscuous videos were uploaded to Instagram on 6ix9ine's account, which he later told police he did for quote-unquote for my image. 6ix9ine also explained to the police that he was unaware she was underage by saying, "When she came in, she asked me how old I was, and I told her I was 18, and I assumed she was older. The way she was asking me made me think she was older." During a November 2017 interview with DJ Academics, Tekashi addressed the underage girl videos by saying, "I'm not touching the girl. I'm not having sexual intercourse with the girl. I'm not doing nothing. She's just nude in some type of way. I didn't rape nobody, bro. The girl wasn't even raped. I didn't have no sexual contact with the girl, but I was in the video." Tekashi's sentencing was postponed at first for 2 years, in conjunction with his plea deal, that would become more like 3 years due to 6ix9ine's request for additional time to conclude his GED requirements included in his plea deal. Aside from finishing his GED, 6ix9ine was also required by law to perform 300 hours of community service, avoid reposting or posting sexually explicit or violent images that contain children or women to social media, write a letter of apology to the underage girl and her family, and not commit any type of crime for the next 2 years. District attorneys have argued that 6ix9ine has been in violation of not writing the letter and committing additional crimes. January 2018 was not only the beginning of the year where Tekashi 6ix9ine followed up his Gummo and Kuda success with his first full mixtape Day 69, but it also became the time when his legal timeline became overpopulated with continual incidences that kept him on the wrong side of the law. In fact, on January 6, 2018, 6ix9ine was caught up in an alleged conflict with a 16-year-old boy named Santiago Albaran at the Galleria Mall in Houston, Texas. The police report stated that the young man attempted to get some video of 6ix9ine. Then the rapper responded by clutching him by the neck and allegedly causing small scratches of marks and pain. With the assistance of his bodyguards, 6ix9ine was said to have further threatened the boy to erase the video, and he complies to the demand. Then, about 6 months later in July, 6ix9ine gets arrested at the JFK airport in Queens, New York, as a response to an outstanding warrant for his Houston incident, causing the highly controversial rapper to be charged with a misdemeanor assault. But in October, the alleged victim, Santiago Albaran, apparently had a change of heart and appeared in court to reportedly request that 6ix9ine not be prosecuted. Santiago even posed with 6ix9ine for a photo. Things on the underage sex front got even more real for 6ix9ine on April 19th. A young lady named Martha Gold claimed to have had sexual contact with Tekashi after meeting in March 2017 when she was only 17 years old, and he was 20 at the time. Martha claimed to have repeatedly informed 6ix9ine of her age in Los Angeles, where the legal age of consent is 18. Oddly enough, after coming out with this testimony, she planned to not press charges by saying, "I'm not trying to put him in jail or anything, but he has to learn to stay in his lane." 6ix9ine's team has had legal problems popping off too. On April 25th, 6ix9ine's manager Treyway was reportedly investigated in a connection of a pair of shootings on the day of the Adrian Broner fight at the Barclays Center, causing the rapper to be banned from the Brooklyn venue altogether. The other abrasive bullet explosion sparked several hours earlier, right in the streets of Brooklyn. Team Tekashi was also said to have faced investigation for gunfire at a Brooklyn music video set, and all of these incidences involved 6ix9ine's Brooklyn rap rival, Casanova. So yeah, moving on, no days off for the drama for Tekashi. On May 20th, 6ix9ine's alleged suspended license generated 2 misdemeanors for the colorful crusader of controversy: operating a vehicle without a license and facilitating aggravated unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle. This all was initiated when the rapper was said to have parked illegally in front of a fire hydrant in Brooklyn. Then on May 21st, like literally the next day, Tekashi apparently clashed with a police officer at the 77th precinct in Brooklyn. How bad did it get? Well, how about getting hit up with 4 more misdemeanors? Tekashi allegedly grabbed and squeezed the officer's hand against the cuffs and caused the officer to have said to be swelling and redness to his fingers and to suffer substantial pain in fear of further physical injury. So before summer 2018 even officially started, 6ix9ine was reportedly investigated for a shooting in New York involving rapper Chief Keef. The media outlet Pitchfork reported on October 22nd that 6ix9ine was actually due in court for 3 entirely separate incidents in the same week: the 2015 sexual misconduct situation, the Houston fan video case, and the violent conflict with a police officer in Brooklyn. On the same day, after avoiding jail time on October 26th for the 2015 sexual misconduct case involving a minor, but receiving 4 years probation, gunfire erupted at a post-sentencing dinner in Midtown Manhattan. The 4 bullets from a supposed third party were fueled by an argument between 6ix9ine's entourage and the bodyguard of a record executive. One of 6ix9ine's bodyguards got blasted in the stomach, then rushed to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Even when celebrating freedom, things still seem to get worse for Tekashi's team. On October 29th, the Associated Press reported that 6ix9ine's entourage members Zachary Bunce and Fahim Walter, the bodyguard shot in the incident, were arrested for gang assault connected to the after party. They weren't allowed entry into the famed restaurant Philippe Chow on the Upper West Side of New York City. Their response was to hit the armed restaurant security with a chair, and the guard shooting Fahim Walter. To intensify the legal dilemmas, on November 7th, one of Tekashi's managers, Kafano Shadi Jordan, reportedly surrendered himself to police due to his participation in connection with the shooting at Tekashi's post-sentencing afterparty. Unfazed by his own ever-growing legal implosion, Tekashi 6ix9ine announced that his debut album, Dummy Boy, was dropping around Thanksgiving time, on the day where most Americans would be sure to be spending money, November 23rd on Black Friday. The cover art and social media caption pretty much summed up his attitude: a cartoon Tekashi pissing out a rainbow onto a checkered floor, along with the written description, "Watch me outsell everybody, suck my dick." Then the wild, unruly rapper made headlines once again in a violent, shocking manner. His music video shoot at the Beverly Hills mansion with Nicki Minaj and Kanye West was interrupted by a drive-by shooting where 8 shots rang off. Thankfully, nobody got hit. November proved to continue its eerie omen of illness for Tekashi. Anthony Jamel Ellison, the man who is alleged to have been involved in robbing and kidnapping 6ix9ine in July, was not only arrested on the 14th of November, but was also a former member of Tekashi's management team. Now, the criminality was truly coming full circle, leading right back to 6ix9ine from an internal source. Anthony Jamel Ellison was detained on November 6th on a federal warrant and indicted on 1 count of carrying a firearm to commit a crime, 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct commerce by robbery, and 1 count of obstructing commerce by robbery. Tekashi himself accepted a plea deal in the case involving his assault on a police officer in Brooklyn during an arrest back in May, pleading guilty to disorderly conduct. The sentence he received was a conditional discharge that demanded that 6ix9ine not discuss the case on social media and remain out of trouble. He reportedly would face 15 days in jail if these terms aren't fulfilled. Then, the reckless roller coaster ride of Tekashi's career led him to fire his entire team. Everybody from his manager Kafano Shadi Jordan, booking agency, and publicist. Even his United States store was halted to a complete stop. Then, one day later, 6ix9ine jumps back on the popular hip-hop forum, The Breakfast Club, explaining the rapid drama in his life, stating cryptically that he only fears God and the FBI. Then, on November 19th, Tekashi 6ix9ine's greatest fears became a reality. He was arrested on federal charges of racketeering and firearms. These destructive situations were directly connected to armed robbery, conspiracy to commit murder, drug trafficking, and organized gang activity as part of the local set 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods. Tekashi wasn't the only one to go down in legal infamy. Other 6ix9ine associates that were taken into custody included his ex-manager Kafano Shadi Jordan and bodyguard Fahim Crippy Walter. To better understand the heavy-handed weight of this arrest, take into consideration that it was reportedly a joint effort between the NYPD, Homeland Security, and the Justice Department's Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The 6 in 6ix9ine's name unfortunately equal the number of counts of an 8-count indictment that he has been charged with. 2 happen to carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. 6ix9ine was held without bail and apparently put in general population. The current toxic conclusion to the extensive timeline of 6ix9ine's legal problems is that during his arraignment, revelations emerged that there might be a potential hit on 6ix9ine's life, with past associates that Tekashi claimed to have cut ties with being secretly recorded stating that they quote-unquote wanted to super violate Tekashi, along with the statement saying that certain high-ranking members of the Bloods had authorized violence. The scary predictions of 6ix9ine's career from hip-hop elders like Fat Joe, Lord Jamar, and Charlemagne the God that had his best interest in mind ring even more true now that Tekashi 6ix9ine's street life has drastically interrupted his stage life.